Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the King of Armor Destruction and the Armor Wizard. Zap. We've got a body armor demo today, but this one's a little different. These are actual side plates that go in the side of your carrier. Now, in full transparency, a Redditor contacted me, I think last October sometime, and sent these over, and because of the way that I procrastinate testing things, I'm just now getting to them tested. I forgot to write his name on those panels, so I apologize in advance that I totally forgot to thank you personally. So if you donated those to me, drop a comment below and we'll pin that, and everyone who's watching will thank you very much. These are the MSAP side plates. They weigh approximately 1.610 pounds or 0.734 kilograms. They are approximately 800 thousandths thick or 20.35 millimeters for those across the pond. They are single curve there. You can see that there's only one rolling curve that goes that way. Now, the best that we can tell, there is no official documentation for what these are rated for, so we're going to have to play very carefully on how we test these because there's a limited amount of area, so I may only get 1 to 2 shots on each one of those panels, and I only have 2 of them. Now, if this is the first time you're coming across my channel, here comes the long-winded speech. Over here we do things completely different than a majority of all other YouTubers. We try to maintain a lot of NIJ protocol so you can take valid data away from these tests. Mainly if you're looking at making a purchase and you want to have that extra confidence knowing that, hey, I'm gonna buy plate X, can it stop M855A1 going 3,150 feet per second because the manufacturer doesn't list it. It's kind of what I'm here for as a validation. Now on the flip side, I am not an NIJ lab, so if you see me stop a threat over here or a threat penetrates, you should always defer to the manufacturer and have them produce actual accredited lab results for that threat. On the flip side, if you're the manufacturer and you see me stop M995 going 3,400 feet per second against your plate, you should send that off to an accredited lab and have that special rifle threat rated, because the NIJ protocols are minimum standards, so sometimes there's not an easy way to discern the difference between plate A and B because they're both level 4, besides obviously cost and price. And depending on your budget, you always want to try to get a plate that, you know, gives you your best bang for buck. Since this is rifle armor, we shoot at 45 feet. We also shoot at 0 degrees because that represents a worst case scenario. If you add any oblique angles, that only increases the amount of material that the bullet has to penetrate through and can give you false performance. We also use a chronograph whenever possible, a Pro-Chrono Pal Digital DLX, because we need to know the velocity of that bullet. We use a giant clay briefcase filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay. That acts as our compressible media that we can set the armor up against. And again, I can't heat the clay up to temperature, or I should say I can, but the amount of time it takes me to heat it up, and then you have to drop a ball on it and certify the dimple, that's outside of the time that I'm willing to take out here to do that. So our clay just acts as a stand-in, and we get a representation of backface. If we stop M2AP in that, and the backface is like 70 millimeters in colder clay, we know that that's probably going to be failing in real world. We also put a spreadsheet here at the beginning that we kind of foreshadow all the threats that we're going to shoot at it. We fill them out, and at the end we actually do a teardown because a lot of my followers like to see what the inside of our panels look like, and we also do that as a way to confirm any of our penetrations. It's around 80 to 85 degrees outside today. Given that these plates have a ceramic strike face, normally per NIJ standards, we would go ahead and drop them on their faces 2 times as a preconditioning test. Given that I'm probably only going to be able to put 1 to 2 shots on each one of these plates, we've decided not to do a drop test on them. Normally, if you have good backing and bond, or a good bond between your backer and your strike face, if the ceramic does crack, it doesn't negatively impact performance. And normally most of the US military contract plates that I have tested have really good backing. As mentioned, there are no specifications for the capabilities of these side panels, so we may only get 1 shot on this first one, and then we'll have to gauge any other subsequent shots on its performance. So we've got our level 4 specification. This is our M2 armor piercing. Now NIJ calls for 2880 feet per second. You won't see that out of surplus, so we've got the 24-inch TC compass in our 300 Winchester Magnum. Got a Phantom M2 Up front for suppression, a primary arms 4-16 first focal plane scope out back. Very nice budget first focal plane scope. I just smoked all the straps off of it and everything. I need more straps. We'll get some more straps on this plate and the subsequent ones, but our shot was right there. Really hard to not know that that's where it hit. And if you saw the other camera, you can guess. Hey folks, no pass through. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is left. I think we'll put some 5.56 shots on this and then move on to the second one. We have just a little bit of a dimple in the back there, but nothing terrible. Our back face clay is a little bit cold, so we're at 42 millimeters. So if this clay was warmer, the back face could be failing. I'm not sure if these are standalone or if you require a 3A backer on them, but it stopped it. Nice. We will attempt 3 shots of 5.56 on side panel number 1. We have M855A1, that is the U.S. Army's current issue ball round, 62 grains, enhanced hardened arrowhead steel penetrating tip, and a copper core. We have our 22-inch TC compass, our turbo 5.56, so we've got maximum velocity here. I would say, based on the fact that it stopped our M2 AP, that these shouldn't be an issue for it. And we're not going to test M193 or M855 because I feel that these, for ceramic threats, are more of a challenge. I think I smoked that one. I think I need some more straps. I'm smoking them all. Again, thank you to all my Patreons and people who give me super thanks. I hate to always sound like I'm begging, but anything that you guys have is always appreciated, especially stuff like this. You know, these plates are not cheap, and this gentleman was kind enough to donate a pair of them for us to destroy, so you guys could find out what their limitations are and have confidence in what you're buying. So our first shot was right here, our second, and then our third was a little high. I wanted to be right there, but I think there's nothing left of the plate. That kind of looks like boron carbide to me. It's that shinier color, but it's really hard to tell. As you can guess, hey, no pass-throughs from the first 2 shots. But that second, or that third one squeaked through, likely because it looks like we're using Kevlar aramid fibers as a backing material and not polyethylene. And with backing materials, aramid and Kevlar is good at controlling back face, but when you still have speed with the part of the bullet that's still penetrating, it has a hard time catching those. And there's nothing left of that ceramic. I wish I had more of these panels for testing, but unfortunately these are the cards we're dealt with. We put the light screens on the chronograph because it's been raining all day and it's gotten cloudy and the sun's gone away. So we want to make sure we get velocities off these. We brought out our 24-inch Savage Access 110 Tactical with the left-hand eject, Crimson Trace Hardline Pro scope up top, and a Phantom M2 suppressor from Yankee Hill up front. We've got our M14A1 API, Mr. Flashy Flash. I love that stuff. Lots of incendiary compound in there and a hardened penetrator. And we have the U.S. Army's current issue 7.62 NATO round. This is M80A1. It's a 130 grain round with a large hardened arrowhead steel tip and a copper core. The tip is actually not as hard as M855A1. It's like 50 on the C scale versus A1, which is around 59-60. I don't know if they did that because of maybe some feed ramps on the guns that these are primarily used in. We'll take the API shot first. That was the brightest flash I think I've seen.
So much fire, so satisfying.
That might have went through. Let's go see what we did. I have to make this quick because the battery on my phone is dying. Our API shot was right there. Then our M80A1 shot was right there. that is considered a fair hit. That's more than 2 inches from there, and it's 2 inches from the edge. However, I think these plates are small enough that ideally they're probably designed for one of those hits. Now 5.56, you could probably put the 4 hits on them and it'd still be good. R.A.N.G.E with our aramid fiber construction and how much that API probably blew away of that strike face, there was just no stopping M80A1. Now again, on the first shot, just like the M2AP, it would probably stop it no problem. But with, again, as small as these side plates are, they're probably not designed to take that much energy and AP threats. Now for a lot of followers' favorite part, the teardown, where we kind of look and see what kind of materials make up these plates and confirm any of our penetrations. Again, these are a tactical MSAP ballistic plate from Ceradyne. Inside of our polyurea rubberized coating is this foam. I'd say it's not very high density, 0.029 inches thick. Confirmed our penetrations on plate number 2 was just that M80A1 shot as mentioned. We're using Kevlar aramid, 285 thousandths thick. Now as far as our strike face goes, it's not really laminated. It kind of is and kind of isn't. It's bonded to this layer of Kevlar here. We measured it right around 350 thousandths thick. Kind of looks like boron carbide, but without the manufacturer specifying, it's hard to know what its actual material makeup is. Here's more of that strike face there. We have another laminating layer. And that's about it. Plate number 1, the only penetration was that shot of M855A1 at the top. So if this had been polyethylene, it probably would have possibly stopped that M855A1. And then there's nothing left of the strike face on this guy. You can see this is pretty much all falling apart. There is no drop face foam on these, and that's it. I'd say those are very capable side plates, definitely rated at level 4, but for any specialized threats, especially more than one hit of 30 caliber, probably not going to happen, folks. Well, folks, I better hurry up and close up shop because the rain is starting to increase its frequency. And I don't want to get too wet, although I've been out here all day and it's become more and more humid as the day goes on. So I am hotter than blazes. But overall, I think these MSAP plates performed very well. Again, there's nothing online that say what they're actually rated for. And they took M2AP at the NIJ spec velocity at 45 feet without a problem. Back face wise, we were right in line with what it could be expected from it, maybe a little more. If you run these and you are concerned about that type of AP threat, you might want to run a 3A backer. We had enough to test our M855A1, and for our fair shots on there, they were stopped without issue. Even our M14A1 API, Mr. Flashy Flash, was stopped cold, but with the limited amount of strike face that is on those side panels, the first shot pretty much propagates cracks throughout the entire side panel and weakens it. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number 1 is my Patreon, and subscribe, Star fans. I'm starting to slur my speech. I think I'm getting hungry. I have a link tree in the description below. Like many other content creators, I have affiliate links in there or discount codes that can earn me a sales commission. They cost you nothing. So if you're looking to pick up anything from RMA or Adept or anything, or PSA, and I can't put links in the description below to some of those sites, but if you want to send me a DM and ask if I have a discount code, all that money goes back in the channel to help buy things like straps and armor and ammo. Number 2 is the fine gentleman on Reddit who donated those side panels for us to destroy with no strings attached. Again, I apologize for not writing his name on the back of the plate. Hopefully someone will claim them in the comments below. And of course, number 3 is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.